Bruce, I could fix things. You could also destroy everything.
Hey everybody, it's Hannah Saulic, the head of video here at CinemaBlend, with Sean O'Connell, our managing editor, and we're here to talk about the Flash trailer.
We've been waiting for you.
Yeah, if I look confused, it's because I opened Zoom all of a sudden. I don't know what I was doing.
I thought I said something. I was like, what?
I'm trying to work.
Pop's confused.
It's been a week.
Yeah.
Sean, before we go shot by shot, maybe not literally shot by shot, and just talk about the different theories we have, what was your reaction?
Are you in?
I was really, really impressed by what they showed in this trailer, and it revealed to me why they decided not to scrap it. Like, there's a lot going on that I think is going to satisfy contemporary DC fans, and of course that whole nostalgia of seeing Michael Keaton back in his bat suit, and the sound of the Danny Elfman theme kicking in from the Burton movies. We'll talk about these as we get to them, I would assume. Yeah, Zod, like, are they going into Man of Steel? Like, I feel like he's traveling into Man of Steel. Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, we'll get to it.
Also, too, just the visuals. I was like, oh, okay, I get like why they're so pumped about Andy Muschietti. Yeah. And I saw too, like the same cinematographer that did Guardians 3 did The Flash. Fun.
Oh, cool.
fact.
That's awesome. And Muschietti hasn't done anything since the 2 It movies, so he's been in the horror
Which I have not
realm.
seen because I don't with clowns.
What?
They're great. Let me tell you this much. They're great. No. I'm telling you as your friend
Thank
that
you
if you
for
really
being
don't
honest
like
with me.
clowns, that's not the movie for you.
I remember I had to edit a video when that was coming out where I had to like, and even like just scrubbing through the trailers, I'm like barely looking as I was like plugging in footage.
Super weird. This is like something we're gonna have to dig deep into at one point. This is like a
No, thank you.
this video took a left turn.
Anyway.
I love it. Keep all this
Anyway.
Can we?
Okay. So
Yes.
Sean, do you have the trailer pulled up?
I do, yes.
All right.
So I'm gonna hit play on it and we're gonna discuss. And I want to start right off the bat with this suit.
Something that initially struck me was, and maybe this is a comics thing I'm unaware of, why isn't he Blue Lightning anymore?
I think that was a Zach choice. I think that's more of a visual cue that Zach was going for in his color palette.
Speaking of color palettes, he's doing something really specific, like certain scenes that are, you know, a lot of yellows and very warm and bright, and that indicates to me like present of what, not like literally the present, because we're just doing all sorts of stuff with time in this movie, but like the like present of the movie, whereas I think flashbacks are some of the more blue, cold stuff that's like not the timeline.
Flashbacks. Very good, Hannah.
What have you done to me?
But we do, there are multiple times where we return to the house. And if Barry is saying that,
This is the world where my mom lives.
that makes me think that Flash is going to see the death of his mom over and over again.
Yeah,
kind of
because
thing.
in this shot, he does have tears in his eyes too, which to me signals like maybe he's been around and he's like hopeful, like this is the last one, like is this it?
Gotcha.
Or it could be just like the very initial time where maybe he's just going back in time in the current DCEU timeline and
Could
revisiting
be a mix
it.
of all of it.
All right, this next shot, top of Wayne Manor?
That's Keaton's, yes. And if you pause it, I think that's Barry on the roof.
This is a person who looks exactly like me, but who is definitely not.
That's long-haired Barry, I'm pretty sure, of the two Barrys.
It looks like he's looking at something, so he's probably talking to somebody. We go
In the
back
house.
to the house. We get Keaton's cowl on the floor.
Right.
I love this shot. I think, what do you think? We're seeing Keaton pre-meeting Barry?
Yes, when we meet Keaton, he's going to be retired. I'm guessing that this is a scene we're going to see where he can't take the physical punishment of being Batman anymore. And I think he's coming to terms with just, I'm old. I might be too old to keep doing this. And maybe there's even some references of, you know, a Nightwing or some such thing, of someone else who's picking up the baton and protecting Gotham. But
In
I'm being
Keaton's
hopeful.
universe?
In Keaton's universe. I'm thinking Keaton might have some other people that he has shepherded along at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. But then the Batman that we see on the motorcycle,
Which everybody was
Affleck.
like at first, Bale? Because this is very Dark Knight, this
It's not
shot.
Christian Bale. It's Affleck.
Well, we know that, but I'm saying it's
Yeah.
clearly paying homage to that, no?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's also just Batman on his bat cycle. So,
Keep looking. What else do you have?
and he's chasing someone and we don't know who. Well, that makes me think that there's going to be some type of a action set piece.
Yeah, it seems like something maybe we're gonna get at the beginning of the film. We see a couple shots later, Flash is coming in to help Batman.
Yes, I agree.
He slides in. This is probably what sets off whatever conversation happens where then Barry's like, peace out, I gotta go time travel.
Exactly.
Something like that.
If you pause at 17 seconds at that explosion with the soldiers, there's something at the top that looks like the bottom of a rocket almost. I don't know what that is. It could just be like air vents or something, but
Later in the trailer, when Keaton's Batman goes down into that tunnel, and I think this is from that fight sequence.
Do you think it's also that facility where Supergirl is fighting the soldiers outside of? Because these look like that type of soldiers.
Well, then the next shot is Supergirl's feet lifting up. So I like that theory. It's very nice foreshadowing in the trailer editing. I think you're right. I think while they try to bust out Supergirl, this is what we're going to see.
But now her feet elevating, doesn't that also look like the top of Wayne Manor? Doesn't that look like the top of Keaton's?
Yeah, Wayne Manor.
That makes sense.
Looking over Gotham. We've got more
Speed Force.
What do you think of the look of this compared to what we saw in Snyder's Justice League?
Different, but the same. I don't think it's that drastically different. Maybe it's a bit much. I liked the cleanness and the purity of what's acted in his. I'm not going to judge it off of a 2-second shot in the trailer.
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards.
All right, so then we get the universe where his mom is alive.
Which is a universe where there are no metahumans, which is why he seeks out Batman, theoretically.
Well, and look at the color. Look at the color. Look at this transition when he's hugging his mom, that sort of yellow-orange glow you talk about, and then it goes to the cold with Ron Livingston. Good call. You are 100% accurate on that.
I'm a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter.
Sad we don't get original.
Billy Crudup?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was jarring.
I was like, that guy doesn't look right. And then I was like, oh, because it's not him.
Yeah, that was a very stark reminder of, oh yeah, they replaced poor Billy Crudup.
Scheduling issues, sad.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's what it was.
I want you to give all that up.
Then you get the kid running out of the house, right?
Yes.
Here's my thought, that this is an example of Barry going to one of the universes and seeing a death, you know, and young him is experiencing it, and young him is fleeing the scene, you know, running out, maybe trying to get help. And he runs right past the version of himself that has come to that universe to see, did she live in this one, kind of thing. All right, go to the next shot. That's Keaton's hand?
Beat up hands. Yeah, look at all those bruises.
That's Keaton's hand, and he's
hand.
Lamenting the parents that get killed.
I'm only laughing on the outside.
You'd think he would have gone to therapy and tried to work through some of this at some point.
No.
All right, then we get Flash kind of living through the montage of memories.
Why is it blue lightning here, though? Later we'll see that alternate Barry is blue, where our Barry's yellow.
Or the other way around, because our Barry has been blue this whole time.
I think there's a lot of hints going on in these lightning colors and colors in general. To what? Not certain yet, but I do have thoughts about some other shots.
Hold, please.
Then we get to Barry tapping his mom on the shoulder. Do you think they're actually going to get to talk? Or do you think? No.
I think before she even turns around, whatever's going to happen, that he gets pulled back out of the Speed Force. Or
That's rude.
So then we get the two Barrys. It's very clear that, I'm going to say our Barry and alternate Barry. Alternate Barry does not have powers, because otherwise he probably wouldn't be so shocked of like, oh, there's another me, because we can do this kind of a thing.
My face. You stole my face.
alternate Barry lives in the universe where the mom lives, so he never got his powers.
Yeah.
He never becomes the Flash. He doesn't have to be. That's cool as shit. I never even thought about the fact that long-haired Barry doesn't have Flash powers.
Yeah, well, he gets them later.
Does he get him in this moment where we see the lightning passing through Barry?
Yes. So I think they're recreating the experiment that gave Barry his powers so that alternate Barry can help.
Interesting. So you think this is late in the movie?
Or like middle, maybe. Then we get close-up shot of the ring, which stores the suit, which looks so cool. I love the way that the metal kind of like fits into one another. It's not like overly CGI'd.
Do you think Bruce gives him this?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. The ring looks fantastic.
Yeah. Next shot.
Bruce, I could fix things. You could also destroy everything.
Our Barry's maybe bargaining. Because we know Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne is aware that Barry's going to do something with time because of right after the nightmare sequence in BVS when Barry visits him. So I
But
wonder.
is that canon?
It has to be, right? Up until this point, they didn't retcon BVS.
Yeah, I guess that is canon. I guess that Ben Affleck or that Bruce Wayne is aware of. That's interesting. That's interesting. He's aware of a nightmare future.
But then I also saw some people saying online that, like, if we're still going with, because we don't know what kind of state Bruce Wayne's in, because we don't know if we're Justice League Bruce Wayne or Zack Snyder's Justice League Bruce Wayne, or just like we're ignoring both of those and not really going to mention it. But if he's still in this kind of state where he's like regretting a lot of things that happened in his past, like there is a world in which he could be almost kind of like supporting Barry and like, hey, if you could go back and fix stuff, you should.
Right. Yes.
But then this sounds like he's like, but maybe not. So I don't know.
That could be misdirect also too. It could, like, Bruce could be saying something else as part of a larger conversation. You could ruin things, but sometimes it's worth the risk kind of thing.
Yeah, that sounds very Ben Affleck Batman-y to say.
It does for this one, yes.
It's my legacy.
Here's where things get really interesting.
Initiate.
Zod. Let's talk about Man of Steel and where this is going. I think that the majority of the Flash is going to take place in 2013 during the attack that happened in Man of Steel, but just in the alternate universe.
Interesting.
This is Zod's message very clearly from Man of Steel.
It's coming in on the RSS feeds.
You are not alone. For some time, your world has sheltered one of my citizens.
This can't be happening.
Let me ask a
so
question.
I think,
So you think Keaton, so you think that there's a Man of Steel universe, there's a Keaton universe, there's an Affleck and Barry universe, and it's...
No.
That's not right.
No?
Well, I mean, maybe.
What?
What I'm working with right now is just 2.
Oh, 2? Okay.
So there's Keaton's universe that Man of Steel events do happen in.
They're going to happen in the Keaton universe.
Yes, but not but it's going to be Sasha Calle's Supergirl that's the Kryptonian.
Instead of Cavill.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And then I think there's the DCEU timeline that
But you
doesn't know what
think-
to do with Justice League.
So why would Zod come to that Earth? Do you think that
To
he
look
knows
for-
that there's
I
a
think-
Kryptonian?
Yeah, so I
stored?
think when Flash says, like, there's no metahumans, he's wrong. And I
Right.
think that there is, like, Sasha Calle Supergirl is clearly being kept in some very high security facility. And I think that Keaton's Batman knows that, but hasn't done anything about it because he's, like, retired, doesn't give a shit. And then I think when Zod comes down and does that, then he's like, okay, we gotta go get this girl out of here.
All right. And you get to the red.
Yeah.
I think Sasha Calle is what he's staring at right there.
Oh.
I think if you pause it, that she's, I think that's maybe her shoulder.
Do you think that's where her
arm.
suit is? Like, does he get her suit for her?
Well, I would guess that her suit and
otherwise, like,
her
where-
are in the same spot.
But like if she's in that like what looks like a potato sack thing when they bust her out of the prison. So I wonder if this is the version in that universe of the Kryptonian ship where the suits are. Because look at the smoke in the back. That kind of looks like when Henry Cavill Superman is like walking down the hallway and all the suits turn around and there's like that smoke that comes out.
Okay.
Because I know you're right. It does definitely look like that's a shoulder of a suit in the corner, and it does look like.
Well, and then you see the suit crumpled up on the floor.
So I think he goes and gets the suit for her.
Okay, because she's being deprived of the yellow sun, essentially, which is what gives her all of her power.
Whose hand is that?
I don't know. That's a good question. I thought you're led to believe that it's Sasha Calle, but...
You're definitely led to believe that by the way this is edited, but no, it's definitely not.
Cold, please.
Let's talk about this. Barry powers up Keaton's Batcave. The first shot of Michael Keaton's Batman.
Incredible.
Oh. You are?
Yeah. I'm Batman.
I don't think that's actually going to be in the movie, but I think it makes for a great trailer line.
It does. Yeah. It's true. It's a beat that should be saved for marketing.
Yes.
Then I love that modern technology, we discussed this on Real Blend, allows Keaton's Batman to move in ways that just weren't possible back in 89 and 92. The first fall is a very Burton-esque, stiff Michael Keaton Batman move.
Yeah.
But then it very quickly transitions into he's a badass and his fight choreography looks incredible.
Yes, it does.
I love it. Alternate Barry fainting.
It's funny.
He would faint because he doesn't have powers and he's not used to being in a world where there are superheroes.
Or like, I would assume Batman's also probably like famous in that universe at this point. So he's probably like, oh my God, it's him.
Because the fainting didn't make sense to me. It was like a lame laugh line in a trailer, but it now fits the character. I was like, why would Flash? Because I didn't think about the fact that he didn't have powers.
He's just a normal dude, and he's like he probably's got a Batman poster or something in his room, and then he's like, oh my God.
He has a Pacific Rim poster, as we're going to find out later on in his room. That's fascinating, Hannah. Good call.
And then we get more Ben Affleck Batman doing his thing.
We're saying this is from the opening of the movie.
I think so, yes.
Well, because also, like, what is collapsing outside of this Gotham Institute?
That to me looks like wherever the chase is happening.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that could be the case.
Maybe this is where Ben Affleck's Batman's gonna pop up with the flying fox.
That's your... Oh, sorry.
Because this is the Wayne Institute, so
yeah,
he does own this property.
He just
He's
destroys
like, excuse me, I have to get in my plane.
I'm rich.
Looks like Supergirl lifting a Barry up into the sky.
Okay.
He's clearly injured. Maybe this is our Barry who's laying on the cave that other Barry is holding his hand.
Oh, interesting.
Because he doesn't look like he has a shirt on, so that would make sense. And maybe Supergirl's doing something to go like heal him.
Gotta heal, Barry. Heal.
We get more Barry.
Now, where's he running there? I mean,
Up
it looks
the
like
side
the
of a
entire
building.
city is collapsing. You think this is during Zod's
Maybe.
attack?
I want to talk about this shot of Barry in the convenience store with someone's hand on his cheek. I think this is Iris.
Okay.
And look
Makes
how
sense.
sad our Barry looks. And I think like the blues in this tell me like very reminiscent of like coloring from Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Okay.
With Iris, obviously. And like they had that really beautiful scene in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Do you think this is like Barry saying goodbye to that timeline? Because we know the Flash is going to reset everything. And this is like a special, beautiful moment between them where he's like,
yep,
bye. So that's my theory.
Yes, I think that is 100% correct.
Because I don't think Iris is going to have a huge role in this movie, but I do think like having a scene like that that's really special would mean a lot to fans, and I think would be like a way to genuinely include her that doesn't feel
I agree. Yes, I think that that's right. Here's a question. Do you think when Cyborg was part of this movie that Cyborg was the character that and instead they just made it an alternate Barry?
It's a long story.
That would be cool, yeah, because it does kind of seem like they're sort of like the two like buddies of the initial journey. I still feel like everything that's in this trailer is probably maybe like Act 1 a little into Act 2. Like I don't think we've seen I don't think we have seen the actual villain of this story yet.
Okay, interesting.
It's not me.
So this next shot, alternate Barry now has his powers. You can see the spray painted Flash lightning bolt. That's clearly
going back to the other
suit.
trailer.
Yeah. So it's clearly a bat suit that they altered. It looks like Barry's trying to reason with alternate Barry. He says, if I can't get back, there might not be a future. Love this shot of I don't even know what that is.
Come on!
That's a bat jet.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, that's
guessing
Keaton's. Yeah, duh.
And? Yes, that is your hand, Nanawe. Very good.
Oh, that's how they generate the lightning to funnel it into alternate Barry.
I wonder if that's then when Supergirl lifts our Barry, who the lightning had to go through first, up into the sky, and then that's our Barry's hand.
Oh, my boy right there!
We get really cool shots in this Zod fight, but if you look at the setting of this, this is exactly the setting of, do you remember in Man of Steel, Henry Clark turns himself in to Zod?
Yeah.
On behalf of General Zod, I extend you his greetings.
So I think Zod comes over. There's a fight with the military because Sasha Calle, Supergirl, isn't there. She's in a prison. She's not able to say, like, hey, I'm going to turn myself in. She doesn't have the same relationship with the government that Clark Kent had. And so instead of just, like, them going up and, like, chatting with Zod, it's Zod fighting in that moment. I
think you're right.
We've been waiting for you.
So I see what you're saying. We're going to see events from Man of Steel, but they're going to play out. They'll just play out differently.
Yes. Which makes me wonder.
Clark in this universe.
Or is there? Because you know how in Man of Steel there was that open crush and everyone was like, oh, it's Supergirl, and even Zack Snyder confirmed that's hinting.
Oh.
So maybe there's an open crush in this universe
yes!
that's the Superman.
And that's where our Superman comes from.
Maybe if this is the timeline they're sticking with.
That's where Gunn's Superman comes from.
I don't know that I think that's going to happen. I think James Gunn really might just want to start fresh, but that would be, like, if they decide to keep Callie's Supergirl, then that could be cool.
But
it's like a little...
You're right, but then that would sort of be a little bit too origin story-ish for
right.
Superman. Like, they said he's going to be Superman for a little while.
Yeah, but, like, if this happened in 2013...
Right,
and
right,
it's
right.
like if Kara's older than Clark in this, I'm getting, like, way...
No, I'm with you.
But there is a way.
Never gonna happen.
Or maybe just, like,
cool
they don't acknowledge it, but you
reversal.
just see an open crush at some point. That'd be a nice callback.
What if Viola Davis comes down and
Okay.
she's on a screen?
Oh, here we go.
She says, I have other people in a crush. And then it's Dwayne Johnson.
Congratulations.
What if she's the one keeping Supergirl in the facility?
Yes.
And then you see Black Adam. What if, remember this underwater thing from Black Adam with all those people in
Of course I remember,
tubs
yes.
that we're never
My
going to find
favorite
out who they
scene.
were?
What if one of them is Kara?
What if? Oh, God.
Focus.
Okay.
All right.
Back
Yes.
to the trailer.
Now this is third act.
Is
That's
it?
third act. Sure, because she's Supergirl at this point now.
Yeah.
Right?
But,
I
like,
think
what if all of that happens in Act 1? Like,
No.
really quickly.
If it's
You're being facetious.
I'm guessing these bits with Supergirl are
Third act?
Third act. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to talk about blue and gray suit?
Love it. So I've been dying for blue and gray suit since forever. I'm sick and tired of the Bryan Singer inspired all black head to toe, because that's what he did with the X-Men. I'm more for comic accurate, colors.
Oh, God, color.
Now, this is still militarized, it's still...
And it's like a muted blue.
Yeah. But this might be the closest we're going to get to it. Although Keaton has one too.
He does.
I'm Batman.
We know that already. Continue.
You see the twirling little tornado?
Yes,
There's two Barrys in there.
Something else is in that tornado. Well, maybe not.
Well, then there's an explosion and it's Batman's ship coming out.
That's a cool shot. I like that.
That's a cool
The
shot.
way that it's framed like that, that's cool. Then we get to...
What's the play? Batman, what do we do? We try not to die.
I love this shot too, where she's revealed from behind Keaton's hand. This also is why I think Keaton knows that Supergirl's there, because he would have had to have led them here. I think Barry's probably like, well, in our universe, we have this guy. Like, who do you guys have? And then Keaton's got some secret file,
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. And that is very Batman-esque.
Yes.
So now you think maybe like Batman has, like, you say that they sort of separate and maybe like Barry's going to get the suit and Batman's going to get her out kind of thing.
Yeah. And then obviously they'll have to meet up at the top of this roof.
Yeah. And then
we try not to die.
What did you think about the action in this part of the trailer?
CGI. It needs to be polished.
Well,
It's
people
okay.
can't actually fly, Sean.
It's early. That's okay. It's early. It looks a little bit unfinished, but I'm okay. Because the final shot of her flying looks phenomenal.
Our kids are gonna want to see this.
And that's, again, I think, third act.
I think this is end of second act, and I think during this battle, we're going to get a third Flash that is the real villain that is then going to have to be resolved at the end. Because remember we talked about this last week, that there was some like action figure toy that got released of Dark Flash, and he looks almost like Kryptonian with like the like spikes on his suit. But there's a version of Flash, if we're going by the leaked Funko Pop names, that was like Dark Flash, that looked like he was kind of Zod-ish.
Okay.
So I think that he's going to get introduced in this Zod fight, and then there's going to be something else after that. That is then what destroys and resets the timeline.
Interesting.
Because like, how would this destroy and reset the timeline? Like, if it's just the same Man of Steel fight,
Right, it wouldn't necessarily.
So
it would have to be something else bigger.
Unless like there's stuff in this again that they're like deliberately cutting out of the trailer.
could be very possible.
Yeah.
Or there's something like you could ask yourself if Barry knows that there's a universe where his mom is alive, and we see where he essentially taps her on the back of the shoulder and is confirming that she's there. What's preventing him from staying there? Why is he? Oh, because Keaton says, like, do you think Barry's mom lives in the same timeline with Keaton and Zod?
Yes.
Okay, so you're really only talking about 2 multiverses.
That's what I mean, I think we're gonna see more, like, as he's running through the Speed Force, just as, like, fun, quick little things. But, I mean, this movie's under 3 hours. Like, I don't, right? Or maybe they have stuff. Like, I don't know that you could really focus on more than, because, like, Multiverse of Madness was kind of the same thing, right? Like, everybody thought, like, oh my god, there's gonna be so much. And then it was really only, like, what, the 3 universes, really, that
if that,
focused on. So I don't think we're gonna get the main storyline taking place in more than 3 universes. My theory's 2, but I could be wrong.
No, I think you're 100% right. I think we're gonna get the one that we start in, Prime Universe, with Ben Affleck as Batman. Barry will run through multiple ones, like you say. And in those multiple ones, he will find his mom dying in each of the ones. But then one of them, and he's kind of doing this on the side, which is what Barry always kind of did. He kept revisiting the moment of his mom's death and trying to figure out ways to stop it from happening. He'll find one where it's happening, and he'll find his powerless self, and he'll think that everything's cool, I can just stay here, right? But then Zod shows up. And
I wonder if, like,
Zod's
something's
attacking.
gonna start to, like, happen. Like, maybe, because you can't have 2 Barry, can you? In the same timeline, like, for a certain period of time? Like, I wonder if stuff's gonna start to happen where he realizes himself, like, I can't be here. Like, this isn't mine.
I have so many questions.
Yeah, so I think you'll get a 3rd act where another Flash, because usually the Reverse Flash is someone from the future, and he's very familiar with the different timelines that Barry has existed in. And I think you'll get a 3rd Flash. You're right about that. I agree with that theory, where a 3rd Flash will come back in and be like, you're really messing up everything. You know, you don't realize the impact of what you're doing is, I'm from the future. I can tell you everything that's been messed up. I come back here all the time to sort of correct things. And then there'll be a big fight that ultimately results in the resetting of everything that's kind of happened. And that's probably where you see Barry will have to say goodbye to Iris and say,
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
I have to do one last thing to reset everything, and in order to do that,
it.
I got to say goodbye to my timeline.
Yeah. I like that.
We have figured it all out.
Well, I think you're blowing it a little out of proportion.
No, I'm not.
This explains in a big way why they didn't need Henry, because you essentially have to drop Barry into a world where you can do the Zod stuff. And
which
you
is
don't
the
have Superman.
Start of his timeline.
Yeah.
So you have to go back there. And I know that, like, some fans are going to be, like, rubbed the wrong way of kind of, like, it almost feels like it's thrown in your face a little bit. But, like,
right.
I think within the context of the story, it'll make perfect sense, because this is when the DCEU well, I guess technically, if we're now including Keaton, it started, whatever. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. It started with Man of Steel.
Yeah.
So they were looking at this as the bookend to the story that started with Man of Steel. I think they came to a decision at some point that they were going to move on from the quote-unquote Snyderverse, right?
Yes.
And this would be a proper way for them to potentially still hold on to Ezra if they want them to continue to play Barry Allen in the movies going forward. But draw to a close the lingering threads that would be still lingering there. It doesn't explain what you're going to do with Wonder Woman, and it doesn't really explain what happens to Aquaman 2 specifically.
Well, bringing in a point, because I tweeted earlier and I was like, hey, like, what are your theories? And Adam Holmes replied, and he says, hoping that when Barry tries to fix the timeline, not only does this have a New 52-like effect where most everything is the same, but there are some differences, like, that would allow you to keep Aquaman, potentially still keep the door open for Wonder Woman, but change your Batman, your Superman, like we already know they're gonna do. It could,
right.
You know what I mean?
And introduce a lantern and all that jazz.
The end.
I love that your mandate was, we're gonna make shorter videos. And we did an
I just looked
hour.
at how long we've been talking.
We did an hour.
We're gonna try to do more videos a week for you guys moving forward that are shorter and more digestible, so that we can get more content to you more frequently.
Right. So to that end, head to the comments down below and let us know topics that you would like us to cover and your own theories to what you saw.